There's a moment in every life when you realize the way you think is the very thing holding you back. For Adrian, that moment came on a rainy Tuesday when he found himself staring at an empty room, wondering how he had let everything slip through his fingers. Adrian had always been careful. He followed rules, ticked boxes, and did what people told him to do. Yet somehow, life felt like it was running faster than he could ever keep up. He lost count of the nights he stayed awake, worrying if he was enough, if he was doing the right thing, if he would ever actually matter. One evening after another rejection, Adrian sat alone on his balcony, the city lights flickering below like distant stars. He pulled out his notebook and wrote a single line. "Why am I still failing?" The words felt heavy, pressing into his chest. He leaned back and stared at the rain. It seemed unfair. It seemed final. As he was about to shut the notebook forever, a thought crossed his mind, one he had ignored for years. One that might change everything if he dared to follow it. His childhood had been full of stories, books, and quiet lessons about life. But somewhere along the way he had forgotten them. Life, he thought, was about working hard and doing everything right. That had failed him. That night, soaked by the rain, he remembered something. It's not the world that holds you back. It's the way you see yourself. Could it really be that simple? Could all this struggle, all these sleepless nights, not be about the world, but about him? The next morning, he didn't go to work. He didn't check emails. He walked into the city without a plan, only a notebook and a pen. For the first time in years, he let himself observe life without judgment. He watched a street musician play violin and noticed the joy in the way he smiled while the strings sang. He watched a mother chase her child across the park, her laughter louder than the wind. He realized people weren't waiting to break him. They were living. And then he saw it, a small poster on a wall that said 3 words, "Change your story." Adrian felt a shiver. Could it be that simple? Could a story really change a life? Changing your mindset, Adrian quickly learned, wasn't easy. Old thoughts crept in like ghosts whispering, "You'll fail again. You're not enough." Stop pretending he tried to ignore them. He tried to run, to distract himself, but every time he opened his notebook, they were there, scribbled in invisible ink across every page. He remembered a story his father once told him, about a man lost in a forest who kept walking until he realized the forest wasn't trapping him. He was carrying the walls in his own mind. Walls in his mind. That was exactly how it felt. He spent weeks writing down every negative thought, then turning it around. "I am not enough" became, "I am learning to grow." "I always fail" became, "I am taking the next step, even if it's small." "Life is unfair" became, "I can change what I control." Every night he read the pages aloud, feeling the words sink deeper into his chest. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the weight lifted. And then came the night when the whispers were louder than ever, and Adrian realized he had to confront the one fear he'd been avoiding for decades. He stood in front of the mirror, staring at himself. The reflection was familiar, tired, skeptical, worn, but he also saw possibility. "Who are you really?" he whispered. Memories rushed in, times he had given up on a dream, moments he had doubted himself unnecessarily, chances he had ignored because he was afraid of failing. He clenched his fists and said aloud, "I am not my fear. I am not my failures. I am capable of more than I know." It felt ridiculous at first, almost like shouting at a stranger. But the more he repeated it, the more he believed it. The mirror no longer showed someone trapped by his circumstances. It showed someone in control of his story. Then the phone rang. A message came through. A message he had been waiting for years but had long stopped expecting. It would test everything he had just realized. Adrian opened the message. It was from the company that had rejected him months ago. They were offering him a position he had dreamed about, but at first he felt nothing. This wasn't about the job. This was about him, his ability to keep moving, even when it felt impossible, his ability to shift the way he saw himself, to rewrite the story he had been living. He smiled. He didn't feel triumphant. He felt free, because for the first time he understood the truth. Success isn't about approval, luck, or the world finally noticing you. It's about how you think when the world seems against you. Adrian started noticing changes in everyday life. Small ones first. He no longer panicked when plans fell apart. He spoke with confidence even when he doubted inside. He smiled at strangers and helped without expecting reward. Then the big ones. He finally pitched a project he had been scared to share, reached out to people he had avoided, even apologized to those he had hurt unintentionally. Every step reinforced what he had learned. Change starts inside. Change starts with the story you tell yourself every day. And just when he thought he had it figured out, life threw a curveball that almost made him forget everything he had learned. A crisis arrived. Someone close to him faced a tragedy, and Adrian felt the old fear and helplessness creeping back. He almost gave up. He almost returned to the old way of thinking. But then he remembered the nights with his notebook, the mornings walking the city streets, the line in the poster that had changed him. Change your story. He realized mindset isn't just about success. It's about resilience, love, and perspective. It's about seeing opportunity in failure, hope in despair, and courage in fear. Adrian embraced the pain and used it to grow stronger. He acted, he supported, he forgave. And in doing so, he finally became the person he had been capable of all along. He stood by the same balcony where he had once stared at the rain, wondering if life was unfair. Now he smiled at the city below. The rain no longer weighed on him. He had learned the hardest truth. The world rarely changes, but you can change yourself.